Welcome back, Sports Talk is McKinney fans, and the song we were just listening to, "Impossible Odds" by Styx. And before we get into
long nights,
long nights, and we're going to talk about a long night last Saturday night, the Arkansas Razorbacks against Long Odds, a long night, an incredible instant classic game. But before we get into that game, Mike, the song that led us in, Styx. We went and saw Styx a couple weeks back over at the Amp in Rogers, and I'll tell you what, they absolutely rocked.
They did. They rocked it. Tommy Shaw sounds as good today as he did when I saw him at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis in 1981. I mean, they sound tight. They sound perfect. Just as good as 35 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they said, they were talking during the concert about, a lot of those songs were from the early 80s, but I'll tell you, that place was rocking. I mean, the Amp, we've seen a couple shows there. We went and saw Sammy Hagar about a month and a half ago. So we do more, guys, than just sports. We also like to attend some concerts, and, that Styx concert was just epic. And you want to talk about something that was epic and rocking the house. How about the Arkansas Razorbacks? Now they're the top 25 Arkansas Razorbacks. They're ranked 24 because they beat number 15 TCU on the road last week in an instant classic, an incredible game, Mike.
Right. I mean, I want to give a shout out to Brian Coots for the setup outside on his porch. Big screen TV outside, kicking off Micah Palooza the right way. You might have heard on our intro that song was from a concert that kicked off Micah Palooza the previous night. What a fun weekend we had. And sure enough, I was giving Austin Allen a hard time. I haven't had a whole lot of confidence in him. It looked like the Hogs had given away the game, but Austin Allen and the Razorbacks, just when things looked so bleak, like they'd given the game away to Kenny Hill again, just like A&M a couple years ago. Looked like it was over. Boy, did they come back.
I'll tell you, Austin Allen really grew up in front of our eyes last week. 17 for 29, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns, but also the game-winning touchdown during the second overtime. And he caught the game-tying 2-point conversion to force overtime that was just a call by Coach Brett Bielema that just impressive. I mean, he showed some guts with that call. And the Arkansas Razorbacks, not just Austin Allen, but then, we had Skipper, who also made the block of the field goal. There were so many back-and-forth moments. And to me, it was just an instant classic. And it was a win that might end up getting the Razorbacks. They've been on the edge the last few years, 7-5. That might be a win that will propel them maybe into getting into that elite top 25 team that we'd like the Hogs to be.
Well, and let's not. I want to throw in Raleigh Williams. Don't forget him. 137 yards on the ground, 28 rushes. Workhorse for the Hogs on Saturday. But the Hogs have had a history in recent years of getting off to slow starts. But, eked out a win in week 1. That's why, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence heading into this game against a 15-ranked TCU Horned Frogs team. But, man, the way that they pulled it out, that's the impressive thing to me. Is not just, they got outgained by about 170 yards. But be that as it may, the numbers on the scoreboard that are the ones that count at the end, and it was 41-38 Razorbacks. And, when it was 8 points, we had an 8-point deficit after being ahead the whole game. Could have put it away with a field goal. Boinked it off the upright, and then TCU just took control of the game. You could feel the momentum shift, and they just took over the game, and the Hogs could have easily just given up, but they didn't. And they drove down for a touchdown, and then Bielema on that play that you're talking about where, the pass where...
On the 2-point conversion.
The 2-point conversion, yes, thank you. Where Austin Allen caught the pass. That's really become one of Bielema's staples, those types of plays. Those gadget plays. And he can call them. I mean, he's known as a, slam it in your face, push the line type coach. Big line, but don't have the biggest line in football this year, but still a pretty good line. And, known for rushing the football. But every now and then, he will throw something at you that you don't expect. And more often than not, it works.
I'll tell you, the game was really a tale of two halves. I mean, the first half, it was all Arkansas. The defense just totally shutting down TCU and Kenny Hill. It really reminded me of the Texas A&M game when Kenny Hill was the quarterback at A&M. The Hogs really dominating, looking good, shutting down TCU's offense. Second half, TCU made some adjustments in the second half. Kenny Hill came out. They were going a lot of no huddle. They really improved on their tempo. And then the Hogs all of a sudden couldn't stop them. We get a chance to get a field goal, to kind of put it out of reach. And, of course, the missed field goal, it just seemed like that was a momentum shifter. TCU not only ties the game, they end up taking the lead. They got a chance to, seal it. And just so many plays that were made that we could go over. But just overall, Brett Bielema keeping that team focused, keeping it together. The gutsy call for him at the end of the game to go with that. I mean, that was just a gutsy call on that 2-point conversion. But Austin Allen, to me, was the story of the game. He stayed cool and collected in the pocket. He had a large part of the second half where the offense did absolutely nothing. But when it mattered, he came up clutch. And, to me, he just grew up right in front of me. Now, I'm a Hog fan. I'm pumped that we're number 24. I don't want to put, I don't want to get too excited yet because, unfortunately, as a Hog fan, we've had too many times where expectations in early have ended up hurting us. Remember Toledo. We got Texas State. We're playing tomorrow. And we're playing Texas State. And I'm not talking about the 1991 Necessary Roughness movie with Scott Bakula and Sinbad, that Texas State group. We're playing a Texas State group that, well, honestly, if you really think about it, it's probably playing about how those guys was in the movie because they have not been doing very good this year. On paper, the Hogs should have a blowout tomorrow.
Hogs should win by 50.
They should blow them out, but you have to be aware. You have to be aware of possibly a letdown. Those letdown games are traps that the Hogs have fallen into in the past, and it's something that we have to avoid happening if we want to continue living this impossible dream of the Hogs making a run this year.
Well, and the thing that impressed me, it's kind of like one of those, in basketball where a player takes a shot and it's one of those no, yes shots. Third down at the 5-yard line, and here goes Austin Allen running the ball outside. I'm like, Austin Allen, what is he doing running the ball? And he gets the ball to the 2-yard line, and from then on, the offensive line just took him over from there. And, I mean, what a great call. I mean, because it worked. And so you got to take your hat off to Austin Allen and Bielema, for making the call or approving the offensive coordinator's call in that situation. But you look at Texas State tomorrow, and UCA, my alma mater, who I'm going to go check out tomorrow, beat them by 43 points in week 1. The team, I take this back. They didn't beat Texas State by 43 points. They beat a team that beat Texas State by 43 points. So, I mean, if UCA beat a team and then that team beat Texas State, the Hogs should roll. But we'll see.
Well, and hopefully the Hogs can continue this roll. We've talked about being slow starters in years past. but we're off to a good start this year, and we're off to another excellent start here on our podcast. And when we come back, we got some more sports to talk about, and we will be right back here. And we're not going anywhere, guys. We'll be right back here for another, I think what we're going to talk
NFL.
NFL. There's so much going on right now, but we'll be right back